It's going.
Okay, perfect. Okay, so this chapter was chapter 10, over improving customer service. What did y'all think about the chapter? Like, what did y'all get out of it and feel like the main point of it was?
I just felt like, I mean, it's kind of like common sense in a way. Like, we all kind of know that customer service is really important, and we've all experienced good and bad customer service. Because like I was reading the chapter and I kept thinking like, yeah, this one time at this company, blah blah blah, like they definitely should improve their customer service, or like this company has great customer service. And it definitely impacts like the way that consumers like go about purchasing. Like if they know like this brand has good customer service, they're more likely to make a purchase in case like they need to make a return. It'll be a lot easier and stuff like that.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I feel like going off Kylie, it's pretty like self-explanatory, or it's like stuff we've experienced. I feel like the chapter, it just puts it into like service models and like different stages and stuff, just to define it and break it down each stage, I guess. But I feel like most of it, I feel like we've experienced personally, or like we are able to like have personal experience related to each topic. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I guess, yeah, what I got out of the chapter was that like you need good customer service in order for customers, and in order for you to get customers and for them to like repurchase again from you.
Yeah.
So that's why it's like so critical that you have good customer service.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so like the first section was over customer expectations, and my little summary of it was like, they had like a quote, and it said, "Customers expect companies to know me, understand me, predict my needs, and deliver." And then I also emphasized that customers want instant gratification, and that tech, social media, and mobile apps are like the dominant channels. So then my first question is, from a customer's perspective, what advancements do you think should be incorporated into businesses to improve customer service?
Well, I guess I can like bring up a bridge. Something that the book mentioned was like, I don't know if this is like skipping ahead, but it was talking about like integration of like data. And so like if you go to like Twitter and you start a conversation there and you enter in your information, and then you have to enter in your information again somewhere else.
Yeah.
I was saying how like that is really inconvenient, and it is a problem for like seamless communication. So like, I guess to answer your question, like more seamless communications is the best way to like improve customer service. And so in terms of like the bridge, like I'm an MIS major, and we have like multiple database type classes. And so if you have like a customer entering information for the same issue, you'll have multiple records of data for the same customer and the same problem. Yeah. And like having that duplicate data can like slow it down and decrease your data quality. So it's better to have one instance of an issue, and that you can like add comments along the way if it's through a different channel. Right. But it can make your decision making process harder, because you'll be like, oh, like we're having a lot of people with this same problem, but it's really just the same customer and the same problem.
Yeah, I completely agree with that.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Claire. Sorry.
I was just gonna say that what you just said is really similar to what I talked about in one of my bridges. But
y'all can do y'all's bridges whenever y'all want. Y'all just let me know and y'all can go for it.
Okay, then I'll go for it because it's kind of similar to that. So I found an article on Forbes, which was called "Why Customer Service Will Reach a New Digital Frontier in 2021." And it basically talked about how businesses have been adapting to find new ways to take care of their customers due to the pandemic. And then the article expands 3 trends that they think will appear this year. And so one of the trends is that companies are expanding their customer service budget. Because of the pandemic, companies have increased engagement with their customers using digital channels. Companies have to invest more in like their technology, and that today customers expect a higher quality of service and are not willing to accept being like passed around on a company's like telephone switchboard. That it is expected that consumers should be able to get their answers via chat box and live chats in seconds. Also, companies have become more transparent with their consumers on price, payment methods, and return policies. And then another trend is the importance um, of chatbots and self-service tools growing. So the article explains how customers have become more digitally savvy now, and consumers want answers immediately. So they said chat boxes will be, or bots will be popular, that it's better than waiting for an email response or waiting on the phone. The key to chat bots is that there needs to be an option for consumers to speak to a real person, just in case if their concern doesn't get resolved. Therefore, they can't replace people. But the thing that was similar is that the last trend was that customer service teams will be working more closely with marketing and sales colleagues. That it talks about how the pandemic has changed customers' expectations on customer service. Like customers don't like repeating their problems to each new person they talk to. So brands are looking to provide like the seamless customer service experience that their customers expect, need, to ensure that their marketing, sales, and service teams can see each customer's journey as a whole. It says the CRM platform will let businesses create a single point of customers' information that all teams can feed into, help them improve friction in customer interactions. This can help deliver the best customer experience. Companies use CRM to build campaign strategies to keep their customers engaged, can also track customer support requests across teams, so the customers don't have to repeat their questions they already asked before. That was kind of similar.
That's cool. I honestly feel like the pandemic almost like enhanced customer service because it really forced companies to like up their game.
Yeah. I found a lot of like articles on that and how the pandemic has affected the change in like customer service, which is interesting.
It's kind of cool. Okay. My second question under customer expectations. So I said from a marketing / business perspective, what do y'all feel like might make it difficult for companies to appeal to customer expectations? Like, why do you, like, what makes it hard for them to appeal to like all these customers' higher expectations?
I think like kind of going off of like Claire's article, something that for me personally is like really annoying is having to wait a long time. I have like called customer service people and they were like, you're gonna have to wait like 40 minutes or something, or got on a chat box and it's like estimated wait time 1 hour. Like one time it was like an hour and a half, and I was like, I don't have an hour and a half to wait for somebody to come up on the live chat. So I think that like wait times, especially with the pandemic, is something that they really are struggling with. It seems like they don't have enough staff to man the live chat or whatever it may be, but that's a real problem because it's like not necessarily their fault if they're overwhelmed with people on the site, but it makes customers annoyed because they're having to wait a long time to get their issue solved. Especially if they don't have that long to wait for it.
Right. Yeah, for sure.
I feel like going off of the chat box, and I feel like I've seen a lot of clothing brands where they try to rely on the bots a little too much, where like where you try to ask a question, they keep giving you bot answers, but you just need to reach out to like a real person. But then they
Yeah.
keep asking like, "Oh, are you asking this?" Or like it's also like when you call it, they keep trying to like auto like suggest you to another like bot to answer your voiceovers. So I feel like sometimes companies are maybe getting a little lazy or just relying too much on the bots, where in
Mhm.
reality sometimes the bots are not all the way there yet. They still need a little more people on staff to help
Yeah.
or just update the technology of the bots maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like since we are now relying so much on technology, also there can be a lot of problems with technology too. So like what would happen if your app, I don't know, stops working, and how can you provide the same
Mm-hmm.
customer
Yeah,
service?
for sure. Okay. So the next section was the social customer service conflict. And at the beginning of like each section, I just put a little like paragraph summary just to kind of help refresh y'all's minds. Um, so this one I said a sizable gap exists between consumer time spent in digital channels for problem resolution and brand spending on digital customer care. The obstacle many companies face is lack of integration. The two primary incentives for companies to integrate digital and social channels are to meet consumer demand and efficiency. So my first question for that is, in this section, we see the term instant gratification. What do you think this means in terms of customer service?
I think that means like customers want answers like within seconds. Like they don't want to wait instant, like when I think of instant gratification.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I,
Anyone else?
I agree. Like, I mean, kind of just going back off of the stuff that we've talked about, I've seen like people, like if you're on social media, I guess, and you're like trying to reach out to someone or you're commenting on a brand's post or something. I've seen a lot of like some brands will like comment you back with like an answer to your problem, and then some will
Yeah.
just be like, call this number or
Mm-hmm.
like that. And I feel like that's
Yeah.
not a very good job of like handling the issue, because you're basically just driving them to the busy sections of your customer service.
Yeah.
And let's see, I think I have a bridge on this.
Go for it.
um it's kind of hard to do bridges for like class, but um talking about like the social media customer service, like if somebody's posting on Twitter and the brand responding, it's important for companies to implement this kind of customer service because it can solve like smaller problems without having your customers have to input a lot of information or go through a more formal process. Like if you have a really tiny problem, you don't really want to wait on the phone forever just for like a quick answer. um, and so a lot of my marketing classes have talked about this type of customer service as like reactive marketing promotions.
Mm-hmm.
So like they can respond to negative comments and assure that the customers are solving, assuring the customers that they're solving their issues. And it's
Yeah.
also crucial because when they respond on these social media apps, other people can see that efforts they're making and are impressed by their customer service, even if they don't have an issue with it or an
Yeah.
issue currently.
Yeah. Christy, did you have anything, or do you want me to move on to question?
Yeah. I guess just also like I guess customers just want quick answers now. I feel like it's just how like technology is moving. I feel like it's like how we're moving from longer videos to shorter videos. Like we used to do movies and then TV shows, and then it's like YouTube videos and then TikToks. I feel like it's just everything's just moving faster paced to like, I think a personal experience is like if I email like a clothing company like about my package, and if they don't respond, I try to like message them on Instagram. Like I would expect like a quick response, I guess. I don't know. I just would like to know quick because I just feel like that's just how we are wired now and what we're used to.
Yeah. I agree for sure. Okay, so my second question along with that section was, have y'all experienced lack of integration with a specific brand or social media platform?
I don't necessarily usually reach out on social media if I have like an issue. I usually go straight to the live chat or the call number, just because I feel like that's the most useful. Like I
Yeah.
usually can get through with the chat online. But I feel like I like recently through like the pandemic, if I order from like Free People or Urban Outfitters and I want to like cancel the order or something, their customer service is always like booked. Like they have so many, like it's like, please wait. And I sit on the phone for like 30 minutes while they play like elevator music. Or if I
Yeah.
get on the chat and I tell them my problem, then it's like at the point where a person comes on, it's like, okay, can you tell me your problem? Like, I just told you my problem. So
Yeah.
I feel like even just within like the one feature, like it's like, okay, tell me what issue you're having today. And I'm like, well, I just said that. Like, how did you not read that? So I
Yeah.
think like kind of going back to what we were saying, just like better technology with their chatbots might be better in terms of like answering your problems and not having to re-enter information.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I remember over the summer, I was like, oh, maybe I'll do like be a DoorDash driver because I was taking classes and you could like pick your own hours. So I was like, oh, that'd be good. But I
Yeah.
had so many problems like signing up, and I was talking to so many people about my like account and everything, why it wasn't where I forgot. It was like an email problem or something. But I had to literally repeat like the same thing to so many people so many times, and nobody could like really help. So then I ended up not doing it. But I don't
Yeah.
know. It gets annoying, and then I just like gave
Yeah.
up.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have a similar situation. I tried to order clothes from Glassons, and I think it's an Australian slash New Zealand brand. And then I guess either I entered the wrong address or like they switched it. I think they actually missed like a letter on my shipping, and then it shipped to like TCU area or something. So I was trying to figure out how to like get it back, but then I couldn't call their phone number because like I couldn't figure out the international numbers. And then I had to like call UPS and then communicate with Glassons, and I feel like they just had a really bad. I feel like clothes once they ship, it's just like a separate thing. So then I had to like call both of them, explain the situation multiple times for like 2 weeks, and I was just very frustrated. And that's also the only brand I've ever reached out to on social media because they were really slow. So then after that, like all that trouble, I just gave up on shopping there. I was like, that's it.
Yeah.
I feel
Yeah.
like that definitely is detrimental to the brand. If you have like one bad experience with like a customer, I feel like they probably just will choose something easier since there's so many like other stores available.
Yeah, for sure. So my next question that kind of went along with that was why is integration important to improving customer service? But I feel like we already kind of touched on that, saying how like it just makes things more seamless for customers. But I had another one after that. This one was kind of like a 4-parter. Sorry, guys. It says, after reading about the 5 primary reasons companies are slow to respond, do you empathize with them more or feel they could still do better? And those, I have the 5 reasons. So it was difficulty in finding the correct answer, waiting for guidance, challenges in locating the appropriate message, the tools for engaging customers are challenging to use, and lack of resources. So do y'all empathize with them more after reading these, or do you still feel like they could do better than what they're doing?
Oh, go ahead.
I don't feel that for them. I feel like it's just how we are moving now, and if you can't keep up, then you'll just be left behind. And there
Yeah.
are a bunch of other options available, so like I feel like they should step it up.
Yeah.
I guess something that I just thought of was that when I worked in like at Nordstrom or Zara, and like a customer came up with a question that like one of my coworkers like didn't know or like didn't want to deal with, they would just give them like the wrong answer. And then I also saw employees who wanted to help, like coworkers that wanted to help the customer, and even though it like took them longer, maybe they had to like ask another coworker or like call someone, or took longer to help, I guess, the customer, they still did it. I don't
Yeah.
know. So I think I just thought that was interesting. Like the customer like may think they're getting the right answer like the fastest with someone when they're really doing the wrong to get. I
Yeah.
don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that like if it's a recurring problem, like if you're having the same issues with a bunch of customers, or like a bunch of your customers are dissatisfied with your customer service, then you should be working to fix those problems. Like if you're having a lack of resources issue, then like, and you want to have all those customers like still purchase from your store, then you should probably get more resources. Like I feel like it's just something that can be solved. And like I
Yeah.
know for me personally, I work in admissions, and one of the things that I have to do a lot is the live chat on Baylor's website. And they don't know that I'm a student at Baylor, and I'm not like an admissions counselor, and I don't know like all the answers, but it's still like up to me to help them the best that I can and give them all the right answers. And if I don't know the answer, then I can ask someone else who might know the answer.
Yeah.
So I think that like there's not really much of an excuse at this point. Like if it's something that's recurring, then you should probably like try to fix it.
Yeah. My last little question was, do y'all feel like this affects customer loyalty? And I feel like from everything y'all said, like, yeah, definitely. Sorry, that was a really long question. Do y'all have any bridges, or do y'all want me to keep going?
I have a bridge that I don't know if like we're gonna like talk about or not.
Okay. I'm moving on to the understanding customer/customer intent. Is it in that section?
No, I think it was like in the intro section.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Yeah.
Do it now.
Go for it. Go for it.
But it was about like the word of mouth, like with customer experience, how like if you have a negative experience with a brand or something, that word of mouth is like really detrimental. So I was saying that like in the book it says like for every customer that chooses to complain, 26 others remain silent. And in the last chapter we read, we were talking about like online conversations about your brand and conversation typing. And so it's like basically saying when you categorize the conversations by like a negative complaint, you could probably infer that 26 other people have the same issue, which is a lot of people if they start to like rack up. So it's definitely important to make the connection with the types of conversations that are happening online, and if they are related to customer service, or like the product or like ads or something. So I feel like 9 times out of 10 complaints online are about bad service, whether it be like a restaurant or a clothing store. Like people are like, the store workers are here are so rude. And like we've talked about like Brandy Melville and how there's like even jokes on TikTok about their employees just like notoriously being rude. I think like the word of mouth for customer experiences with service are incredibly important in terms of tracking the conversations about your brand online.
Yeah, I agree 110%. Okay, so the next sections was understanding the customer / understanding customer intent. And so my little summary: channel preferences change across demographic groups. It is crucial to identify the ones that matter most to your audiences and use them. Know what a customer came for and wants to accomplish. So my first question is, why is it so important that the customer service experience be personalized to a specific group?
I feel like you have to know your target market and like customers to know what they want, and I guess know what they're looking for. Like you don't want to provide them with something they don't necessarily need or want. I don't know.
Yeah,
You know?
absolutely.
Yeah, I think like in terms of like target market, if you like understand your demographic and like maybe if you have an older demographic, they may be more inclined to use the phone and call you on the phone. So maybe you want to have more people in your call center versus if you have a lot of younger people or people that are used to like that instant like response, you want to
Yeah.
have a lot of people on your social media team or your like live chat team. So I think like the allocation of like customer service staff can be really useful in terms of like personalizing the experience just based off of like where your target market is going to be online.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I agree with Kylie. It's just like if you understand your customers better, then you know what to focus on and what to improve on more, and based on what your customers like to use.
Yeah, for sure. And along with that question, I said, what tactics would y'all use to figure out which channels matter most to your audience? Like if y'all were in a company.
I guess going off what like Kylie said, I would say definitely the age. I think that's a really good one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I read some like when I was looking through articles and stuff, they said yeah, the younger generation is more like digitally savvy, everything
Yeah.
digital for them, and you want to know if they're young or old. And
Right. Yeah.
I think also like just tracking your traffic, like if you have a lot of live chat traffic, then you should like put more effort into that. Or if um like you have a lot of social media traffic, then you should probably try to have more people like through that channel. I think just making sure that you know where they are and like where they're more likely to come. So like if you can assume that like this group of people is like more inclined to use live chat, then they're probably going to be more inclined to tell their friends to use live chat and
Right.
like use that word of mouth, be like, oh well, like I had an issue, I just went on their website, because I always tell my friends that I'm like, oh well, like if you have an issue, just go on their website, they'll answer it super fast, and then
Yeah.
they end up going and then they can tell somebody else. So just kind of like knowing where your people are and also knowing what channels are the most effective for your
Yeah.
issues.
Yeah, for sure.
yeah.
My second question with that section was, what channels do y'all prefer when y'all need customer service?
I prefer chat box just because I'm already on the website looking for something, so I think that's easiest if they respond quick. Because
Yeah.
I just don't like the bots, the companies that use a bunch of bots to like try to answer your questions, which I prefer like an actual person on the chat box. Like,
Right.
Mhm.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, I would say like the chat box too. But it also I think depends on the issue I'm having. If it's something like really complicated, I'll normally just call them.
Yeah.
If it's pretty simple, then I'll just use the chat box.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I usually just use the chat, and like depending on the wait time, I may call, but I feel like it's easier for me to use the chat because then I can like send pictures. Like one time I ordered like a dress, like a bridesmaid's dress that was like custom size and like everything, and then it like broke as soon as I got it. So I was able to like send through the chat like pictures of the like problem because they were like, we don't take returns on custom, and I was like, it
You're
broke.
going to.
So yeah, so I was able to like send the tag and like my measurements and all of that through the chat, which is like easier than on the phone because then they're like, oh well, like can you email us pictures and blah blah blah. So I think like the chat, if you have like fast responding staff and like can solve your issues, like I think that's the most convenient feature.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah.
Okay. So our next section was personalizing the customer experience. So I said we are living in an experience era. Consumers are all about the experience. You need to know a customer's preferences to achieve this. I said, why is it important for companies to provide an experience along with their service or product?
I think if you want the customers to come back, it's crucial that they have like a great experience and unique customers to drive your business.
Right.
So I think
Yeah, it's like, I guess like my experience with the bad experience, like I don't think I would be going back, and I like was complaining to like all my friends and roommates, and they probably would hear and be like, oh, maybe we shouldn't go there too. So I think
Mhm.
it's like word of mouth too, and just like your general like reputation. I feel like when you really like a brand, you'll probably talk about it a lot, and then that would just help the reputation.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. Like, if you want to stand out against like competitors and you want to have like a loyal customer base, you want them to like sign up for your emails, you want them to get a credit card, whatever it may be, like the
Yeah.
experience has to be worth the effort of like buying the product and stuff like that.
Yeah, absolutely.
I also have a bridge.
Yeah, go for it.
Okay. So it was a Forbes article and it was called Co-founder of the Ritz Carlton talks about how to manage the customer experience. And the co-founder of the Ritz Carlton is I'm probably butchering his name, but Horst Schultz. And he explains the importance of customer service and how it has led the Ritz-Carlton company to success. He explains how the company had a good customer service before the pandemic, or if they had a good customer service before the pandemic, then they were most likely to survive and did okay during the pandemic. And then he explains how customer service is everything, that if you don't have customers, you don't have a business. So then he listed 5 points that businesses need to be successful. And the first point he listed was that he said employees first, that it starts with the employees because you have to have great employees that are willing to do the job they're supposed to do. And then the second point he made was hiring takes practice, so that in order to have exceptional service experience, you must have great employees that can work together. Therefore, hiring the right people is necessary. He said be selective in the hiring process. And he said the perfect hire is worth the wait and not to settle for anyone.
Yeah.
And then the third point was your market is your customer. So he said for successful businesses, you must understand your market, which is your customer. You must understand their wants and needs first in order to meet their expectations. And then the fourth point is that leadership is where it starts. He said it is the role of the leadership to have an understanding of the customers they serve, that they must set the tone, create the culture, and build systems and processes that allow employees to deliver amazing service to their customers. And then the fifth point he made is that customers want 3 things. They want what you sell them to be defect free. They want it when they want it. And they want employees to be considerate to them. When this happens regularly, the experience becomes predictable to the customers, and customers want consistency because it creates confidence, and confidence can lead to loyalty to the company. So overall, customers are why you're in your business. Even with an employee first mindset, you need customers to stay in business. Customers are the ones with the money and provide the revenue to your business, and they're your number one priority. So you gotta stay focused on them even through challenging times.
Yeah, I agree with that. And I agree with you saying that like employees are vital. Absolutely. My second question with that section was, what companies / brands have y'all engaged with that provided a memorable experience?
Well, I think just like not even thinking about like online or retail, when she was talking about the employees and the customer service, I like kept thinking about Chick-fil-A, and everyone knows about Chick-fil-A's like customer service. Like I feel like it doesn't matter what Chick-fil-A you go to, it's always good customer service. They always
Yep.
get everything right. And if you have an issue, they'll fix it immediately. They're like, oh, yes, I got it. My pleasure. And so it's like, I mean, like Chick-fil-A, if I'm like, I'm hungry, like, what do I want to get to eat? I always think Chick-fil-A first because one, it's good, but two, it's like, I know I'll get what I want out of the experience. I won't have to wait that long. So I think that in terms of employees and customer service, they've definitely got it down.
Yeah, for sure.
I agree. And also, like, it's like Brandy having the bad jokes. I feel like Chick-fil-A has like good jokes, or like people make like memes or funny videos about how good their service is, which I feel like is such a plus and like is so beneficial to their brand. And I think another brand that I've had a good experience with is like Urban Outfitters. I think I had like a problem in like chat box, like even immediately it was fixed. Like they're just really quick, even though they're like a really big company. Like when I order from them, I feel like I'm pretty like I feel like I will get my order pretty safely. If not, they will help me with whatever problems I have.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess for me, if I'm looking for like a product, and like many stores sell the same thing, I most likely would buy it from Nordstrom because of their like return policy, and that if it's damaged, I know it'll be like taken care of like with not many like questions or
Yeah.
so like I will most likely like buy from them because of their customer service.
Yeah. I agree with the Chick-fil-A thing, hardcore. Best experience ever. Okay, so our next sections, it was like the social customer service models, ad hoc, limited, and formal stages. The ad hoc stage handles frontline requests. The limited stage is not the most reliable indicator of customer satisfaction. However, data collection and analysis start to emerge here, and the formal stage is full-scale support for all products. So these questions are more just like straightforward. The first one was, which of the 3 stages provides the most customer support? And then I said the least. And then I said, what does each stage consist of service-wise?
Well, like the lowest one is like the like social media, just like small problems, like if you just have something like quick that you need answered. And then like on the larger scale, like the formal would be like maybe like an in-person interaction in a store, like with a specific issue, or like on the phone or an email conversation that it like takes multiple responses to get your issue fixed. If that makes sense.
Yeah, for sure. And then my second one with that section was, which stage has been most prevalent in y'all's experience? Like, which stage have y'all like dealt with the most or used the most?
I would say like, I don't know. I say maybe like the limited stage. Because I feel like for me, like most of my issues are like with an order or something like that. And I can just send them over my order number, my email, and they usually can pull up all the information they need to fix the issue. So I think limited stage, I don't usually have like major issues with like the formal stage. But yeah, I would say the limited stage probably.
Okay.
Yeah, I guess I agree with that. The limited stage, like with purchasing orders and returning. I feel like I do use that the most. And
Yeah.
I had a company once email me and like asked for my order number and like confirm the address because I guess I typed it in wrong, and it was
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess same. I usually only have problems with like typing an address and stuff. It's never like a big like within the company type problem. It's usually just something that would be like in the limited stage.
Yeah. Okay. Our last section was the Delta Airlines section. I said Delta has embraced emerging trends and utilized new communication channels, both social and mobile. They utilize Twitter, Facebook, video chat, and chat bots to achieve optimum customer service. So my first question is, what makes Delta so successful in providing quality customer service?
Well, I think like just looking in the book, like they have coverage all day, every day. So I know that like for especially with an airline company, like you have people like all over the world probably. But I think like 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, even though like it might be hard for some companies, that is like really crucial. Like if you have an issue at any time of the day or like on a weekend and you need it fixed like immediately.
Yeah.
That especially with flights too, because like flights are like deadline based. So if you have a flight for tomorrow and you needed your problem fixed before the flight took off, then like that would be crucial to be able to reach out to someone and know that you can get a response before then.
Yeah.
Something also the book said that you can also do, Delta offers video chat calls for customer service, which I thought was interesting and very innovative and probably sets them apart from their competitors.
Yeah.
And you also would have that face-to-face like relationship more, which is, you get more of a like relationship when you're talking to with your customers when you like talk to them or see them than just over like a chat box.
Yeah.
Yeah, I also see that it says that like there's a chat box that lets like business class passengers to choose your in-flight meals like before the flight, which I think is like pretty convenient too.
Yeah, for sure. What do y'all feel like really like sets them apart from their competition and gives them their competitive advantage? Like the main thing you see that you're like, oh, that sets them apart from another airline. Like I would choose them because they have that.
I guess just them thinking of ways to serve their customers better and using like by using new technology and just trying to think of ways to help their customer. I feel like that's like a good mindset to have, and I really appreciate that service.
Yeah.
Yeah. It also says that their response time is significantly lower than like their competitors on Twitter. And like you, if it's something like an issue that's like you need fixed fast, you're probably going to want to go with the company that is going to respond to you the quickest.
Yeah.
I wouldn't want to have to wait, 2 to 3, 4 hours for a response if I'm on social media. So that I think probably definitely sets them apart.
Yeah.
I agree. Like when I was reading a lot of articles, they said response time is like so crucial and important for customer service. And also I kind of have like a bridge kind of indirect.
Yeah, go for it.
This one is more on like AI and customer service. So the article is called From Support Function to Growth Engine, the Future of AI Customer Service. And it talks about how artificial intelligence and customer relationship management software are expected to be mainstream. The technologies can automate routine tasks, freeing up human agents and providing them with data-driven insights to help swiftly resolve customer problems. There assist retailers, banks, government agencies, and more rethink the goals of their customer service centers along with their teams to adapt from a support function to a growth engine. And then it explains how the company Gartner predicts that by 2022, 70% of customer interactions will incorporate technologies like machine learning applications, chatbots, and mobile messaging, up from 15% in 2018. The article says that powerful and trainable algorithms can go through large amounts of data and learn patterns to automate and assist customer service processes. This technology is changing the way customer service and helping organizations understand customer needs before they even do, providing the service they need at the right moment. So now organizations are recognizing the shift by incorporating chatbots and other AI tools together, information, classify and route the customer cases and solve routine issues. The article gave an example that when people need help returning a product or like renewing a driver's license, the process is increasingly automated. The retail automation market has valued at 12.5 billion in 2019 and is expected to reach 25 billion by 2025. And then it said that it used AI in retail as an example, that it can learn the structure and context of a product catalog. That vocabulary of the conversation is domain specific, and with more usage, the language models will learn the vocabulary employed in the industry. A study found that 82% of customer service organizations using AI saw an increase in first contact resolution, meaning that the issue is resolved before the customer ends the interaction. So like an example of that would be, they said that the AI could use context in the conversation to predict the response. So if somebody said that they're hungry, it's time to grab some, the AI would know what you're probably going to say, because you're probably going to say lunch because it's like mid-afternoon.
Yeah.
But then there's like, I guess the downside to all this AI stuff is that it doesn't have empathy like humans do. And then also there's like an ethics section, and it's crucial that like chatbots inform the users that they're not a human, so that humans so that we don't like put in information that is sensitive, like healthcare, finance. Organizations using AI need to be upfront to consumers, so they know that they're not talking to a human and that it's just a robot.
Yeah. Okay, my last question for that section. What other major companies provide quality customer service like Delta? What major companies should adhere to this level of customer service?
I don't know if I can think of like a company that has like off the top of my head, like 24-hour service and like super quick response time. Cause I feel like every interaction that I've had to wait like a little bit, even if it wasn't like that much. Or I like missed the call hours or the chat hours and I had to wait till the next day. So I think that like if other airlines aren't doing the same thing. Like they definitely should be. Just
Yeah.
because airline problems come up a lot. Like a lot of people have issues with tickets and times, gates, whatever, airports. So I think that if other companies like there are other airlines that have good customer service like Southwest, and like if they have a similar like approach to their digital channels, then they could have like significant competition with Delta. So I think that other airlines definitely should have the same.
Yeah. I remember when I was doing like research, I was looking up companies with like the worst rated customer service in 2020, and United was one of them. And my family uses United, and they complain about the customer service and like how long it takes a long time for like their problems to be solved, like especially when COVID happened. We had before the pandemic, we had bought like plane tickets and stuff to places, but then you couldn't like travel there anymore, and it like took a really long time to like resolve the problem or like getting our money back, and like it was kind of a pain.
Yeah.
So I thought it was interesting how it was on statistic, or I forgot the name of the website, but I saw it on there and I was relatable.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess the only airline I can think of that has pretty bad service would probably also be United. Yeah, I feel like they just don't really care about their customers, just do the bare minimum. So I
Yeah.
feel like probably them, they could already learn from Delta, but
Yeah.
that's
Absolutely. Okay. So now, do any of y'all have final bridges?
I have one left.
I have one too. I think I missed it, but it's not it's like just kind of talking about like the personalization section, and we've talked about personalization in this course specifically a lot when it comes to like ads and the type of advertisements that you receive, and how it like relates to omni-channel marketing. So I think it goes the same with customer service. Like you can personalize the way you handle the interaction by their needs, issues a person has had in the past. So if you have like the personalization and all the touch points and interactions with customers, you're better able to serve them. And it minimizes the negative online conversations and perceptions. So that was like my last bridge, and it wasn't like a big one.
Okay, cool.
Okay. My last one was talking about it was a Forbes article, and it's called Companies That Pride Themselves on Customer Service Pandemic Edition. And it explained that companies had to change their customer service due to the pandemic, that they saw the pandemic as an opportunity to grow their customer service, especially since customers were changing their preferences. Therefore, companies started updating their apps by making them multifunctional. And they talked about how Verizon allows you to make in-store appointments, buy products, upgrade your devices, access customer support, and pay your bills online. The changes and they talked about how they have touchless retail now, and with in-store or curbside pickup of online purchases. So that's kind of how Verizon adapted. Also, it briefly mentioned how doctor appointments are now virtual due to the pandemic. And also it said that customers like it when companies are more transparent with them. And then it gave an example. I'm gonna butcher his name, but Paul Mama, I don't even know. I'm how to say his last name, but is a director of customer support for a photo decor brand called Fracture. When the pandemic started, he decided to fire factory staffing by nearly 50% to focus on COVID safety measures and increased cleaning. That almost doubled turnaround times. He said, rather than simply apologize to customers for delays, we decided to own this decision and publicize it as much as possible. He also said, we are confident in our rationale, and we believed in our customers. We trusted that they would value the safety of our employees more than the speed of their own order deliveries. And he said that they did, that customers supported the decision and rewarded the company with high service scores and ratings from them being transparent. And then another example was a cafe owner called Jamal Latif discovered that customers don't disappear even during the pandemic. So when it forced him to close down his cafes, or his cafe in Ohio, he said it mentioned as a cafe, as a cafe owner, he always looked forward to having in-person daily interactions with his customers, and that as a result of the pandemic, it shifted to Facebook. He said that social media became the best way for us to talk and interact with our customers. That way we were so used to seeing on a regular basis. He also said that customers would send pictures of their takeout food, and that they could respond quickly with almost recreated conversations. And he said that he was just able to continue to build customer relationships even when he couldn't interact with his customers in person. And this also would help ensure that when the pandemic was over, he would still have a strong customer base.
That's really cool. Wow. Okay, and now, Christy, we're ready for your art.
Oops. Am I able to share screen?
Oh, yes, I can.
Thank you.
Should be good now.
Okay, so this is my artwork. And I guess, like, what do you guys think about it? And what do you guys think, like, this I was trying to represent?
I think all of the little faces are like emotions of different customers. And like their experiences with customer service, whether it be good experience or bad experience.
Yes. Okay, Kylie, you were.
It seems like like the shaking hands, they're like, it's like the customer and the brand, and they're like coming together to like agree and solve like the problem. Like there's people who are angry, there's people who are happy, there's people who like, like that there's chat bubbles and stuff like that. And I think that like that represents the conversations and the issues, and then like the shaking hands are like, okay, we solved the problem through customer service.
Yeah, I guess I kind of think the same way. Like the company's goal is to make the customer happy, which is like the middle with the hands, and then the stuff on the outside, maybe like what the customer feels, like they're confused, happy, or satisfied, or dissatisfied. I don't know.
Yeah, pretty much like that's what you guys said. And like the handshaking, it's just like a happy, like a satisfied customer with their service, and then all the other like emotions and like the chat box and like checks and X's are just like the process of agreeing to that, and the faces are just like satisfied customer and satisfied, but it's just like all the process to like or like us having to know all that, or like the question marks, like the questions we have, like just the process of like until the process to achieve like a satisfied customer. But yeah, that's all.
Cool. Love it.
Thank you.
All right, well, we're done, guys.
Awesome. Good work.